What's up, man?
What's up? How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Man, I can't complain.
For sure.
Ready for this first episode.
Yep, sounds good. So, welcome to the first episode. You're my first guest.
I like that. I like to hear that.
Yes, sir. So, do you want to introduce yourself to start?
Yeah, so what's up, everyone? My name's Damon Stone. Instagram, BigStone98, and YouTube is just Damon Stone. You can find me on there. Um, was a power lifter for about 3 years. Recently switched up and getting ready for my first bodybuilding competition. Supposedly supposed to be around May is the goal. I'm gonna compete.
Right.
So we'll see if that happens, if COVID allows it to actually happen.
Sounds good.
I'm excited to be on this one, man.
Yeah, thank you. It took me a little bit to get everything set up because I got my microphone, had to get my phone situated and stuff. But yeah, so thank you for coming on. So, I have like seven good topics. You said that people actually asked you questions.
Yeah, I put up a poll on my Instagram
Okay.
and I got a couple pretty good responses that I think are good to touch on, like just for
Mhm.
this
Okay.
and whatnot.
Yeah. So do you want to start with that and then we can just go from that and then go to the topics? Does that sound good?
Yeah, no, that totally works with me.
All right, man. Let's do it.
All right, let me pull these up. Um, should we release the names of the people that asked these questions?
Um, honestly, it's up to you. I mean, I don't think it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm gonna start off. I got two questions from my boy Devin, who he's one of my training partners right now and stuff like that. He's 8 weeks out from a show, looking freaky. He just asked some pretty good questions I think should be touched on and
Gotcha.
stuff. So his first question is, when should cardio be started for weight loss, and when to increase versus adjust your food
Mhm.
and stuff. And honestly, I think, in my opinion, cardio is one of those things like you should always keep up just to constantly have that, like, the fat burn, keep the metabolism running strong, things like that. And what you should really focus on is like the adjusting of food. Like,
Right.
keep the cardio pretty steady state, because especially when you compete, you don't want
Mhm.
to be 6 weeks out from a show and be like, oh dang, I haven't done much cardio, let me kick it up to 2 hours, and
Right.
now like you're completely screwed. I have a buddy who he really does 20 to 30 minutes every day, like year
Gotcha.
round. He just keeps it up, just like when prep starts, he's used to doing cardio. So when he has to go up to 45, he's like, oh, okay, like this really isn't that bad.
Mhm.
And I've been on the other side of the spectrum where I did no cardio for an entire bulk. And then I was like, okay, let's cut. Let's start doing cardio. And I was like, wow, 5 minutes sucks. How am I supposed to do 30 and
Right.
stuff? And depending on goals, in my opinion, is when you should adjust your food. If your goal is to lose weight and you're eating like a maintenance calories of, like, let's just say 3,000 calories, and you're trying to lose weight and that 2,900 is working for a little bit, after a while your body's gonna get used to that 2,900 and you're gonna hit that, like, that plateau, that stagnation in it. And that's when you start to kind of tweak your calories
Right.
and stuff. So really just off of like how your body reacts to it.
Mhm.
If you're trying to grow and your body gets used to the 3,000 calories, throw in a
Right.
cheat meal or throw in a little bit more cardio or more calories throughout the days and stuff like that. Like, just kind of when your body's used to it is when you should start adjusting.
Right. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes more sense. When I was cutting for my first show and I didn't have a coach or anything, I like was trying, you saw my physique before. I wasn't very good. I didn't do any cardio and I didn't have a steady diet.
Yeah.
I think, and what I've seen so far, because I've only been training for like a year and a half, I think that cardio, like regular cardio is good, maybe just 15 minutes post even.
Yeah.
Because I mean, I guess it depends on your goals, but I've seen a lot of people they bulk and it's relatively lean. So yeah, I agree with you on that one.
Yeah. And really, like, everybody knows, like, cardio is one of the worst things to actually do. So if you go from no cardio to 30 minutes of cardio,
Right.
like, you're going to hate that. But if you slowly work your way up, like, start with 10, and then after a little bit, you're at 20, like,
Mhm.
keeps it working. So even on a bulk, 10 minutes of cardio is going to keep your body used to having to do that. So when it comes time for the cut, you're not going to be completely shocked.
Right. No, that makes sense.
Next question by Devin, I think is one of the most like underrated questions that I have on here, and
Yeah.
is really something like that I see a lot. And he asked, why do so many people that think they're going to pick up a weight think they're automatically going to go pro?
Yep. Can I say something real quick?
Yeah.
So I was actually watching a podcast he did with Jerry, and they were saying the same exact thing. And I thought about that. I really thought about that one because it's so true. Like almost every guy in the gym wants to become pro right away.
Yeah. I think, especially with, I'm going to say our generation, like
Right.
this new age of fitness and stuff like that, like with social media and all these influencers and stuff, like everybody wants that
Mm-hmm.
quick build, but nobody saw the work all the guys, like the old school guys, were putting in like before they went pro. The
Right.
amount of shows it actually takes to go pro, and like the amount of years it takes of training. Like nobody's going to step on stage
Mm-mm.
and in 2 shows they're a pro bodybuilder, because the difference between amateur and pro is two completely different levels.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And people aren't like, they don't really see that. They just see like, oh, this guy did it. Like, let me do it because this is what he looked like at 16. And this is what I look like at 16. Like, just because
Right.
you start lifting, like, nobody's ever good at something until like 10 years later. Like, your 10th years when you finally, like, okay, like, I got this.
Yeah.
And so, like, to see all like young kids like me, like in my age group and stuff like that, are like, oh, yeah, I've been working out for a year, 2 years. I'm going to be pro this, pro that, like not just bodybuilding, but any sport. I'm gonna be pro. I'm gonna have 100,000 followers, but they're not doing anything to actually get to it. They think it's gonna happen within a year and
Right.
stuff, but they don't see the trying to hit 1,000, trying to hit 5,000, trying to hit 10,000. They're just automatically like, I'm gonna get 100,000. I'm gonna be pro, but like, there's so much work to it. So much is the amount of food you're forcing down, the times you don't want to train and you have to force yourself to go train. Like they're not willing to actually do that, but they expect to be pro.
Exactly.
So
Yeah, man. You know what? When I heard that, and I watch YouTube videos, of people talking about that. Something that really hit me was this guy. It took him 12 or 13 years to become a pro.
yeah,
And I sat back. I'm like, is this something that I really want to do? Because like I talked to my coach, and I'm like, I kind of sounded like kind of cocky because I told him I want to become a pro and all this and that. But he kind of told me, he's like, look, I can get you to that point. You can get to that point, but it's going to take years of consistency of doing the same thing. And I mean, I'm still learning, like, it's not going to happen overnight. You know, you got to build from the ground up. Since there's no magazines these days, you really have to build your social media yourself. Like,
yeah,
brands won't sponsor you if your following isn't there, you know?
mm-hmm.
And like you said too, like it could take 10 years to become pro, and that's building your character, that's training every day, getting in the meals, you know?
Yeah.
So that's a big thing.
And like our generation is so like instant gratification. Like they're like, I need the recognition now. Like I need to be acknowledged right away. So they
Right.
automatically think like, oh, hey, you see this vein on my bicep? I'm gonna be the next Mr. Olympia. Like you're like, nah,
Yeah.
bro.
Right. You know, it's funny because if you look in, you talk to the Olympians and you talk to them, they put in their whole entire lifetime, their whole young adult life was just bodybuilding. Like they didn't go out and do anything, maybe with their family, but it's a lifestyle, and it's a commitment, you know.
Yeah.
And that's why I like talking to pro bodybuilders, because they really kind of like sit you down and make sure you're on. They tell you.
Yeah, they keep it real because they were the ones that went through it and stuff.
Yeah,
All
for
right.
sure.
Next question. I kind of think one of your topics is kind of touching on this question.
Mhm.
So after I say the question, like if one of your topics covers it, we'll hold it off until then, really.
Got you.
This guy, Ryan, asked me, what are my goals in the fitness industry? And do I have a certain image or message that I want to get put out there?
Right. That's perfect. I mean, yeah, we can cover that one right now.
Okay, so go ahead. Like, you can start. What are your goals, and what's a message like that you want to be out in the world with it?
Okay, so my goal, long run, like the long term goal, which is important, is I want to become a pro bodybuilder. Short term goal, or like on the way, I want to build my social media and I want to be an influencer. So that's my goal. And then he wants an ideal physique. We want, is that what he's asking?
No, what's a message that you want to get out there?
I just want to motivate people and inspire them. Just positivity and just to not never give up. That's
Yeah.
the message I want, and I want to help people because we all start somewhere, and I want people to like look back at me or you and be inspired by that.
Okay, I like that.
Yeah.
All right, so my goals in the fitness industry are really like real closely tied to just my goals in life. And that's, I just want to make a name for myself. Like, I want people to know the Stone name growing up. Like, everybody be like, "Oh, you're Stone's kid, you're Tony's son," and stuff like that.
Right.
And like, same thing happened with my dad, where it's like, "Oh, like you're Stone's son," talking about my grandpa. And like, I just want that. I want people to know, like, Stone, like, it's a powerful name. I'm coming with the message. I'm coming strong, no matter if it's in the fitness industry or whatever I end up doing in the long run with life. Like, I want that recognition of my name. I want my kids to know like their dad did something. And the reason I put it towards fitness is really because for 4 or 5 years ago, I was over 300 pounds. I thought I was healthy and stuff, but
Right.
I always got joked on like I was a fat kid, whatnot. And it really got to me. And making that transition from fat to fit the way I did, like, I want just to inspire people to do the same. Like, you don't have to be in that dark place, like with the sadness, with the constant binge eating and things like that, like just to hide
Right.
any pain or any like hurt that you might have. And like, fitness is one of the things that truly helped me get out of a dark place in life. And so I just want, like, if anybody's going to take anything out from what I say, what I have to offer is that dark place you're in right now. Like, that's not where you're going to end up. Like, that's not the end. There's the light at the end of the tunnel. And for me, like, fitness guided me to that light. I got new confidence and just self-respect and things like that because of fitness. And so that's why I push fitness as like my way out of that dark place. But like, for everybody else out there, like, find what makes you happy and run with it. Like, be the best artist, be the best gamer, like whatever it is, but like, don't stay in that dark place and stuff.
Right.
Like, eventually things do get better.
Exactly. Nice, man. I really like that one.
Yeah.
That
So
was really good.
that kind of carries on to the next question on
For
how do you
sure.
stay motivated on your bad days? And they put like, quote unquote, if you even have them, which, yes, I have terrible days sometimes where weight's just not moving and like my body's hurting, or I wake up and like physique wasn't what it was the other day, things like that. Like, that really gets me mentally, because going from being fat, I put so much on my self image where I was like,
Right.
okay, like, fit Damon is a good Damon. Like, that's the Damon people like. That's the Damon people love. And so when I'm not that, I feel like nobody loves me, like nobody respects me because I'm not fit Damon and stuff.
Right.
So like, to stay motivated, I just think back to like 4 years ago, I was eating Jack in the Box, like $5 munchie meals, two of them,
The good
and
stuff.
like a large soda in bed, like in my boxers, just like that, going out to fast food all the time. Like, I think back to that and know like I got out of that place and like I'm not going back to that at all.
Right.
It's like that's what keeps me motivated, is seeing the progress that I've made in this little amount of time that I've been doing this and stuff. And like, I get random DMs from people I went to high school with, from family that I barely talk to. They're like, "Hey man, like, this is motivation, this is inspirational." I see people that like I used to go to school with, I didn't even know, follow my Instagram or like are subscribed to my YouTube, and they're like, "Hey man, like, keep up with the videos. I love the content. Like, I love the hard work you do," things like that. And I'm like, shoot, we had a conversation at one party 6 years ago and you're still supporting me. Like, that keeps me motivated.
For sure. Yeah, man. That's a good one. So something that you pretty much touched on that really well. I mean, there's no other way to say it. For me, how I stay motivated is I enjoy training. Like I'm not gonna lie, I really enjoy training. It's hard for me not to like it, except I mean everyone has those days where they don't want to train.
Yeah.
Um I think the hardest part for me would be I lose motivation on dieting a lot. I don't know if that's like that for you, but what I do to stay motivated is like you said, just think back to like why you started and like why you started and just think about the like how you feel when you achieve that goal. Like think
Yeah.
about how good it'll feel. And yeah,
Definitely. So that last question and like the next like 5 questions are all from the same person. So shout out Amber for asking tons of questions to keep this thing
yes,
going. But
right. I appreciate that one.
so she asked like, how do you control your food cravings?
Oh, that's a good one.
And like going back to when I first started and I was told like eat like this and like don't change from it. And so like my mindset was like, okay, I have to eat pasta at 2 o'clock or nothing's gonna work. And
Right.
really like I wasn't going on dates, I wasn't hanging out with friends because I couldn't eat, like can't go eat here, can't go eat that, can't go eat at this time and stuff. Like that built a bad relationship with food. But now
Right.
like working with Austin and like going through all the different phases of like how my body has looked at different weights and whatnot over the years, I learned like every once in a while, like you have to give into that food craving because if you fight it for too long, like eventually you're gonna slip up and like have a bite of a candy bar, and then next thing you know, you have 6 bags of McDonald's because you waited so long. But if you like utilize your cheat meals and stuff, like if I know for me, Austin just threw in a second cheat meal during the
Awesome.
week because he wants to put on size and stuff. And like I don't binge out on crazy cheat meals. Like I'm not going to McDonald's or going to Jack in the Box because it doesn't sound good. But like my cheat meals are, man, you know what? I'm gonna have a Halo Top ice cream because that's gonna help the cravings. I'm gonna have a nice steak and like some sweet potatoes because that's not part of my meal plan. But like that meal keeps me going. Like I'm like, okay, like I got my fix. Like today is a cheat meal and I went and got Lonnie's. Shout out Lonnie's, best food truck in all of Oregon.
Yeah.
But I got Lonnie's and I was like, okay, like this is nothing like what I normally eat. Like I got the poke nachos, so it's like little chips and whatnot. I'm like, I never eat this, so like
Right.
I'm gonna savor this, and then in a couple of days, like I'm gonna get another cheat meal. So like I kind of fight my cravings by the day I get to have something that's not on my plan. I enjoy it. I'm like,
Right.
I'm not gonna go buy an ice cream sandwich that has 700 calories because I'm trying to get calories. No, I'm gonna go buy a fat plate of poke nachos that also has like 800 calories, but it's way more food and it's gonna last a little bit longer. Stuff like
Right.
that. Like I make the cheat meals count, so I don't have stupid food cravings.
Definitely. For
Yeah,
sure. So yeah, for me, and this, like I never had a hard time like with weight issues. I was always like the skinny kid. So
yeah.
for me, when I have cheat meals, I can get away with maybe a little more than someone else could. But what I like to do, and what I found out is instead of like completely deriving yourself if you don't need to, especially in your off season, is every now and then have like a small snack or something, because
But let's rewind a little. My boy said completely deriving yourself is depriving.
the
Man,
depriving.
English is hard sometimes. Okay.
Thanks for correcting me.
Yeah. Got to keep you
Anyway,
smart.
yeah, bro, thank you. Yeah, I really gotta work on that.
I'll buy you a thesaurus, bro. I got you.
Anyway, I feel like what Austin had me do when I was prepping for that show first is post workout I'd have like I'm not even kidding you like almost 6 cups of cereal and with protein shake as milk.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't even want a cheat meal. Like my diet was like I think make your diet around like make your diet to where post workout is like cereal or something like that.
If when you're eating a lot of calories, like I know my brother and I just filmed a day in the life video that's going to go up soon.
Right.
And he was following what I eat every day. It's so much food that like normally he'll have a snack here and there, but he was eating so much that he was like, bro, like I don't even need a snack. So if
Right.
you actually eat the amount of calories like you're supposed to be eating, which most people do not do, you're really not going to like have that hunger to go and have these cravings because you're constantly eating and you're satiated. So it helps. I know
Yeah.
like when I was 10 weeks out, I'd get weird cravings. Like I'd wake up 1 in the morning, I'm like, man, a PB&J sounds good. But then like I would just tell myself, nah, this is gonna be worth it in the end. Like skip the PB&J right now. You can eat a whole jar of peanut butter once prep's over. Like that's how that was.
Yeah, I agree with you on that one. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, I mean, I lost my train of thought. What I was gonna say. Yeah, no, like I said, I think if you could just make your diet like kind of fix it up to where you don't really have to have a cheat meal. And a lot of it is self control though too, because you know that when you get to a certain point in prep, you can't have a cheat meal. You know, like you're not gonna have one. So I think self control. A lot of it has to do with self control.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Yeah.
All right. What is your favorite thing about being fit and healthy?
uh, I mean, I think the obvious one is the gains. I mean, looking good. What do you have to say about that?
Honestly, like my favorite thing about like being fit now is honestly it's a super like bad type thing, I guess, but I love that everybody that like kind of talked crap on me when I was fat or kind of looked at me because I was fat, like they try and be friendly now.
Oh, yeah,
I'll
yeah,
see people like girls that rejected me when I was fat will hit me up like, "Hey, you're so cute." I'm like, "But I wasn't cute 6 years ago." Like, nah. Or like
right.
dudes that I went to high school with that like they were the ones in shape. They're now the fat kid. They're now like beer bellied out. And I'm over here like, nah, like let's go to the beach, bro. I got a 6 pack. Let's go to the beach.
Yeah,
And it makes me feel better because I'm like, I'm 23 and like I did this while these guys they were 15, 16 where everybody's lean, but they want to like mess with the kid that was fat and now they're the fat ones. So like the reason I love being fit and healthy is so bad, but
yeah,
I just love proving the people wrong and stuff. And like, I like being the guy that's doing it.
yeah. Um, I can touch on that one too because when I was going through school, I was like that quiet, like socially awkward kid that like always sat in the back of the class, headphones in, didn't want to talk to you, wore saggy sweatpants and sweatshirt, never really wanted to be a part of much. And like when I first started, a lot of people just thought it was going to be a phase because I went, everyone goes through phases. But once I started putting on some serious size, people out of like that would pick on me growing up were like acting all nice now, like what you're saying. And they were like, you want to hang out sometime soon? I'm like, no, dude, I'm too busy. I don't got time for that. And
Yeah.
it's just, yeah, proving the people wrong feels really good and that's like a topic that I wanted to go on was dealing with the haters, but if you want to, we can answer questions, go back to it or stay on this topic.
Um, I got like two more questions.
Okay.
If you
Sounds
want to knock
good.
them out real quick.
Yeah.
Um, what are some surprising things that many people might not know about like the fitness world and stuff like that?
Mm-hmm.
And then what's your favorite and least favorite body part to work out / show off?
You know what I'm going to say on that one.
All right, so go ahead. Start off with what's your favorite thing to work out / show off?
I like my back. I like working out like the lats and my back. I don't know. Like that's always been my favorite workout is been the back. Like I
And
just,
go ahead and tell the world that your least favorite's legs.
yeah, my least favorite workout is legs. I will be honest with you on that one.
Yeah.
I don't like legs. I like even when I messed around in weights class, like I never really liked it. You know what really messed it up though? Was a lot of people were telling me, "Oh, don't skip leg day. Everyone hates leg day." And then that gets in your mind, you know?
No, I don't know because legs are my favorite thing to train. I
I'm
love to
get
throw the weight around on some squats and stuff. Legs are the best.
yeah,
Honestly, I'm trying to make this my like one of my new favorite things to train because I neglected it for the beginning part of my lifting because I was a power lifter at first. I
right.
neglected my arms so much to like they were my least favorite thing, but now like I try and hit arms. Honestly, I do like bis and tries twice a week because I like slip some bicep and some tricep movement in with chest and back and stuff. And
Mhm.
then I have a whole day that's just arms. And I get a cheat meal on arm day. So like arm day is my favorite thing to train now. Because
Right.
I know like, okay, as soon as I'm done destroying my arms, I get a cheat meal. Like hallelujah,
Right.
praise the Lord type stuff.
Yeah, I get that. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Do you mind if I add a question to this?
Yeah.
So your least favorite, um, like what's something you can do to make it to where like mentally it's not bad. Like you want, like you look forward to doing it.
Um, So really, like I feel like most people, their least favorite is their least favorite because it's underdeveloped or like they're not as strong as somebody else in the room, things like that. Like
Hmm.
if I grew up watching some dude squat like 600 pounds with ease, and I go to squat 315, it's like kind of shaky. I'm gonna be like, man, I hate legs, like stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like that's why it's their least favorite. Like nobody's just like, man, you know what? I actually hate physically training legs because I think it's pointless. No, it's just because like you don't train it right, or like there's somebody else that trains it better than you, so you feel self conscious and whatnot.
Hmm.
And
Right.
so like I think if you want to eliminate like the least favorite mindset is train with somebody else. Like
Okay.
find a training partner that will go all out and kill arms or go all out and have a crazy leg day, but they motivate you to keep doing it. Like come on, man, you got this. Like, let's push through. Let's get this. Or you have that reward in the end. Like for me, training arms means I get a cheat meal. So like I love training arms now and stuff. Like if you give yourself a reward, like, okay, if I do this and I kill this, like this is my reward, you're gonna look forward to the next time you have to train it again and stuff.
Right. That makes
So
sense. Yeah. Thanks for that one. That makes more sense. Like
yeah.
for me, for legs, it's like some days I'm hyped for it and some days I'm not. And it's really just a mental thing for me because I get like super nauseous training it, and I haven't really figured out how to get. I'm still trying to get past that.
You just
But
pull the trigger and puke.
yeah, I know I need to just get over that fear, especially if I want to really push, like improve. So,
Yeah, pull the trigger and then keep on lifting.
all right.
All right. So the other question are what are some surprising things people may not know about the fitness world? And
Mm-hmm.
anybody that listens to this, anybody at all, most of the things you see on Instagram are photoshopped. You find the
Severely.
best lighting in the room. You get the sickest pump before the pic. Nobody is training like crazy and then like you don't go in, take a picture, and then train. No, you do your entire volume workout into where your arms
Mm,
are crazy pumped, your back is like just blown up, and then you take the picture under the best lighting with the best angle, and then a touch of Photoshop, and that's that. Like, don't see those pictures and think, oh man, this person's legs are so huge and vascular. No, they got a crazy leg pump, got an angle for the legs. Like, trust me on that. And
yeah.
also, like, I hate because me and my buddy were talking about this before we were lifting together, and this guy like came up to us and was like, "Man, I would be as big as all the people in this gym if I took steroids." And we're
Oh,
just like, we're like, "What, bro? Like, nobody's talking about steroids. Nobody's like anything like that." We were like, "We're just there's big people in the gym. Like, we're at Gold's Gym. Like, yeah, there's big people in the gym, bro. Like, most of these guys are pros. Most of these guys." But he was like, "I would be just like them if I took steroids." Bro, for anybody out there that thinks like, oh yeah, I'm gonna take SARMs, I'm gonna take steroids, I'm gonna take test boosters and get huge, you're not. Because like if that's your mindset, is like I need them to get big, you're not training enough, you're not eating enough. Like I've known dudes who take it and like sit there and do nothing.
yeah.
Bro, you're not gonna get in shape. Like the amount of training you need to do, the amount of food you need to eat to actually grow normally, if you can't even do that, There's no way you can do it just because you're on like some extra enhancer.
Exactly. You know, there's this, I'm not gonna say names, but there was this guy before the second lockdown who would always come up to me and was like, "Oh, what are you taking? Like what drugs are you taking and why are you so big?" And I'm like, "You have to understand that you need to eat a lot of food and you have to train hard." Like it took me a year to fully understand that. Like I was eating, but I wasn't eating enough, you know? And
Mm-hmm.
once I got with Austin, he just gave me the tools and I just started growing. And I told that kid, I'm like, how many meals are you eating? He's like 2 or 3. I'm like, okay, bump it up to 4 or 5, add in a cheat meal once a week, train hard and with a purpose. And there was multiple times he kept asking me that question. It's like some people just don't get it. You know, some people will never get it.
Yeah,
You
for
know?
sure. All right, so that is basically all the questions right there. If you want to move on to those topics.
Yeah, so we pretty much got like how we stay motivated. So, um, getting in every meal, like, so you've done a bulk, right? Have you done a bulk?
Yeah, yeah, I ran like a dirty bulk before I left to basic training
Okay,
and stuff, like just to see how strong I can get, and I really just didn't want to diet before I left.
okay, so like, and this just goes for cutting too. Like, how do you get in every meal? Very much. Like, how do you stay motivated to do it? And like, what are some tips you can give a new person?
So I meal prep for like 3 to 4 days in advance. So like every Sunday and like either Tuesday or Thursday, like depending on how work is and stuff, I'll meal prep for multiple days. So in my fridge, I have containers of, okay, this is all Monday's meals. This is all Tuesday's meals, things like that.
Mm-hmm.
And so I just throw them in my lunchbox and I go to work. I have I get 6 meals a day and like 2 protein shakes. So I'm like, okay, if I have my first meal at 10 o'clock, my next one at 11:30, 1 o'clock, like I space them out. And so like that time comes and I try to eat that meal and stuff. And when I was bulking, I would do the same thing. Like it was way more food. Like honestly, my bulk was like damn near 4,000 calories because I was eating pizza or
Right.
sushi like every other day. So it was like close to 4,000 calories. After I had my heart problem, I went up to a 5,000 calorie diet for 4 months straight and stuff just because it was like depression eating
Oh
and all
yeah.
that. But like I still would meal plan and know like, okay, these are the meals that I have. I don't like eating around like 9 o'clock at night because then I feel like crap going to bed. So
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, I wake up at 6 o'clock, let's say. So I have from 6 o'clock until like 8 p.m. So 14 hours, I got to fit in these amount of meals and like this protein shake and like this what pre-workout or post-workout thing. Like I know what I have to eat for the day because I'm like so dialed in with my diet, even when I'm on a bulk, lean or dirty bulk. Like I know like I have to get this many meals in this span of time.
Mm-hmm.
So let's do it. I'm never one to like, okay, let me sit down and sit there and slowly eat this meal. Like, no, like I will
Yeah.
be driving my car, like spooning rice in my mouth as I'm going to the gym. Like,
Right.
and that's how I do it. And that's how like I've always done it is I had it planned out because you see so many people that want to get in shape or have this goal or that goal. And they know like, okay, like diet's important, but I really don't like cooking after my workout. So let me just grab Chipotle because it's kind of healthy.
Right.
uh it's too early to wake up and like cook my breakfast. Let me just grab something from Starbucks since I'm gonna go get a coffee anyways. And like that's where people mess up. Like
Right.
my oatmeal for tomorrow morning is already in my fridge soaking in water. I wake up, throw it in the microwave for 2 minutes, and I'm done.
Hmm.
I have 4 meals already cooked for tomorrow. Like while I'm at work, I wake up, throw them in my lunchbox, and walk out the door. Like that's instead of waking up every morning, be like, okay, I'm gonna eat this much chicken and this much beef, so let me cook it now. That's gonna take an hour and a half to make. Like, no, make it for
Right.
4 days and stuff. Like, have a couple of days made and just eat on the go. Like, you're ready. You come home from the gym. Oh, dope. Here's my post workout meal. You wake up in the morning. Oh, dope. Here's my breakfast. Things like
Right.
that. And it makes it so much easier.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
I agree with you on that. One thing that I did is when I was like in the summertime, when I was really first starting the bulk, I work at Panera. So one thing that helps me save money is being a prep person there, especially you get to handle the food. So I would take the rice instead of putting the oil in it. I just take the rice and then we've had turkey, fresh turkey and chicken, and I would just wait in the back and I get it for free.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't really make excuses because I didn't have an excuse. Like I literally work at a food place that serves fresh food. So it's kind of like, it's kind of bad for me to say, oh, I don't have my food, so I'm just going to eat this. And no, it's right in front of me. And yeah, I think meal prepping for maybe a week too would help most people.
Some food's like not the best to sit in the fridge and stuff like that. But like if your
Yeah.
excuse is I don't have time for it, then like you don't have time to go to the gym. Like you
Yeah.
don't have time to get in shape. If you don't have time to eat a meal and stuff, like eat a healthy meal, everybody has time to go through a drive through for some reason. Like you can
Right.
go wait in line at Dutch Bros or Starbucks for your coffee, but you can't sit down and eat a meal. Like
I,
if you don't have
it's,
time for that, like you don't have time for the benefits of being in shape and stuff, because there's a lot that goes into it. It's not anybody can do this type at a serious level. It's not anyone can do it.
no,
So if you
it's
truly care about like the long run and like the actual results, you find time.
right. And
Like
like, and with fitness and bodybuilding, it's like, if you don't make time for that, you're not going to get anywhere. You know,
yeah,
it's not like what can bodybuilding do for you. It's what you can do for bodybuilding. And I got that from Tom Platz. He said something like that, and
yeah,
that's true because nobody's gonna hand you anything. You know, you got to make the time and do it yourself. So
yeah, for sure.
that pretty much covers that. And then did we cover dealing with haters, right? Did we fully
We
cover
had brought
that?
it up. We didn't talk about it though.
All right, so let's talk about that one. So do you have anything you want to say, like how to deal with the haters and how just to block them out, pretty much?
So I don't really get met with like serious hate.
Right.
Like the people that do want to like actually send hate are doing it through DM. Like
Mhm.
everybody's a keyboard warrior in this generation and stuff. So
Yeah.
like if I posted like this used to happen a lot. I followed this dude who like or he followed me. He was vegan. And I'm like, cool, like that's your choice. Go ahead. Like I support whatever your choices are. That's dope.
Yep.
I'm not a vegan. So I
Yeah.
posted a picture like I was eating a steak and he was like, oh, I can't believe you support the genocide of animals. And I was like, what the heck?
Wow.
Like, I'm sorry, bro. Like, and he like literally that went on for a week straight where he would just like send me articles and stuff like that. And like in my head, I'm like, this dude is really coming at me for because I posted a steak on my story. Like, it's not worth my time and effort. Like, for me to respond and then he's going to respond, it's just going to keep going back and forth. Like, if you ignore it, they eventually just stop. But
Mhm.
like the people, not necessarily haters, but the people that doubt. Like, I remember once I was wearing a Gymshark shirt at like a kind of like a little like kickback and stuff like that, like family friends and whatnot. I was wearing a Gymshark shirt, and one of the guys who used to be in crazy good shape back when we were in high school, but is now fat, was like, he's like, "Oh, Gymshark, what? You think you're sponsored by them?" And I
Oh
like was like,
gosh.
I was like, "No, but that'd be so dope to be sponsored by them. Like, I hope one day I can get sponsored by somebody."
Right.
And like that was his way of like throwing shade, like I'm not good enough for a sponsorship. Because then like right after he was like, "Oh, what's your bench press?" And I was like, "Do you just are you just talking and asking these questions because you want to make yourself feel better? Like,
For real.
where's this coming from?" Like I didn't even bring up the gym. I sat there and I was eating like my meal prep. And he
Hmm.
said that. Like we had no conversation leading up to this. This was out of the blue. So like you brought it up just to make yourself feel better about my answer. Like so really I block out anybody that's throwing hate because they're throwing hate because they're not in that position or they've tried to put themselves in a position like it and couldn't handle it. So they're gonna sit there and throw hate on something they can never comprehend.
Right.
So
So that makes sense. I think a lot people get more hate from their family. I think starting out, like not hate, but more like they'll ask you like, why are you eating all this food, or like, why do you spend so much time on it? And so some people can actually get to them. I think if you just in with haters generally, I think if you can sit them down or like talk to them and explain what you're doing, then maybe it'll change their perspective, you know?
Yeah,
Something like
for
that.
sure.
So, yep. And then do you have any advice for content, like making fitness content and staying relevant?
Honestly, so me and my brother talk about this like quite often.
Hmm.
Where like I told him like I hate people that follow the trend. Like I hate carbon copies, which David Lay blows up on or YouTube years ago, and now like half the influencers that we have now are carbon copies of David Lay. Like they're posting the same exact thing, they're talking the same way he does. Like be yourself. Like just because this person posts this content or this person created this or this person does it this way, cool. But like, how are you going to do it? Because like
Right.
I don't want to be remembered as, oh yeah, that was the guy that did everything David Lay did and now he's famous. No, I want people to look at him and be like, oh yeah, like that's Damon Stone. Like he's famous for this, not because I hopped on another trend and I blew up on it. Like no, because then you're just one in the pack. Like you're just like everybody else. There's nothing that makes you special. That's why
Right.
like you all these people in like Instagram and YouTube have 100,000 followers, 100,000 subscribers, like things like that. They're making money, they're traveling, they're sponsored by this company, that company, but you don't know them
Right.
because they're another carbon copy. Like I want to be just like Ziz, I want to be just like Rich Piana, I want to be just like no, be
Mm-mm.
yourself. Like if
Right.
you to me, like on my YouTube and Instagram, I don't care about, oh man, I have like this many followers, this many subscribers. Like, no, I love the fact that say 10 people watch my next video, but they like it. Like, that's 10 people that genuinely like my video, that like they sat there and took time out of their day to like actually enjoy who I am. It's not like oh man, I think this person's the greatest because they do it this way. So I want to be just like them. So I'm going to copy them. Like, no, I'd rather have 100 real people that love me for me, that know me for Damon Stone
Hmm.
versus 100,000 like people that are like, oh yeah, I used to love David Lade back in the day. Let me be like David Lade. Like this guy's just like him. This guy's the next this guy's the next that. Let me follow him now. Like no, love me for me, like my content for the things that I do, not because it reminds you of somebody else that made it type stuff.
Yeah. So that makes perfect sense. Just
Yeah.
really be yourself, because even like the popular or the famous influencers will even tell their younger people that too. But I don't know. I still feel like it takes a certain individual, you know. Uh, so, do you mind like talking about your like competition goal, like what you want to do for competing wise?
Um yeah. So for me, I did powerlifting for so long. I want to say two, maybe three state records in Oregon from when I was like 18. And
Okay.
I thought that was the coolest thing ever that I did that and stuff because I played football from kindergarten through my freshman year of college. So I've always been
Right.
around like sports and competing and stuff like that. And then I switched to powerlifting when I knew football was over. And I love powerlifting, but bodybuilding is one of the most intense sports there is, in my opinion. Like, yeah, every sport has a workout program. Yeah, like some sports have a diet or like weight classes, like wrestling, it's a weight class. Like you
Right.
have to be in this weight class. And powerlifting, yeah, you have to be this strong. But bodybuilding is like you must fit this weight class while all look like also looking insanely built. So like
Right.
I could cut down to 180 if I wanted to, but it doesn't mean that I'm gonna be stacked with 21-inch biceps and every like striation of my legs showing. Like so like that's that's what I like about that. But my
Mhm.
competing, I plan on doing a show hopefully in May is the goal. So
Okay.
like 16 weeks out from that. And I'm doing this to see like if I like this sport, if I can truly handle this sport, because it's so much mentally
Yeah.
and stuff like that like a lot of people don't know the actual mental struggles that it takes. And I already deal with a lot internally and a lot mentally just being the person that I am. So I'm kind of doing this show just to like as a stepping stone to see like, can I do this long term?
Right.
I know everybody that competes is like, I want to one day go pro and stuff, but really like I'm just doing this sport because I love competing. I honestly don't care if I never turn pro.
Right.
I am an athlete like till heart, like till the day I die, I will always have an athletic mentality.
Okay.
And so I'm doing this sport to like just keep that fight going on internally. I want the best that I can ever achieve from it. If
Right.
that means I go pro, then it means I go pro. But I'm just going to keep doing this sport until my love and passion for it dies out the way it did with football. And then I move on to the next thing that just drives me. Maybe, like Seth said, maybe I'm the next strongman. Like, who knows?
Yeah,
But
man. You never know.
yeah, I'm just gonna ride this wave until like eventually it crashes. Whether
Right.
that's 2 years from now or it's like 40 years from now. Like, who really knows? Because this injuries can change like the way the sport is done, things like that. So, kind of just here like doing me and riding that wave on it.
Right, man. I like that one. And on top of the other question, on top of that is, would you want to make a business out of this, like maybe a clothing line or something later down the road, or are you just focusing on content?
So my big goal is I want to own a gym.
Okay.
Like that's my end goal is once I'm out the military and whatnot, like I want to own a gym because
Right.
I want to show like to train people that are in that bad place and want to make it out type thing. Those people that want to make a lifestyle change, like that's what I want to do it for is that.
Okay.
So I hope that with this sport, I build a following, I build a background and a platform and stuff like that to where I now have a sponsorship or I have supplements or a brand that I work with to eventually just skyrocket me to having people that follow what I do and love what I do. So when I open a gym, I have people come in. Like I want people to travel from different states and different countries to be like, oh yeah, I need to go to Stone's gym. Like I need to do that and
Right.
stuff like he was a big inspiration, so I need to do that. So like I don't really care about a clothing brand in a
Okay.
sense, or I need to have a supplement company like Ronnie Coleman. Like no, like I've always wanted to have a gym. And it's like
Right.
that's really what I'm doing it for is like to build that following and build that background for when I inevitably open up a gym.
Right. That makes sense.
Yeah.
All right. Well, do you think there's anything else you want to like talk, put any other information out there, or you have anything else you want to say?
I want to say thank you for having me on as the first guest.
Yeah,
I can't
man.
wait to see where this like leads you and things like that. Stay with it
Right.
and have me back soon for another one. I think like there's high hopes in this. Like if you actually pull through with it and like work hard at it,
Yep.
you will get a following in it. And for everybody that watches, check me out on Instagram at BigStone98. Follow the YouTube Damon Stone. I have new videos coming out soon and new content. Putting things in the works right now. Got goals for this year. So kind of just watch me hit those goals and
Right.
just want to spread some love and positivity to everybody's life and stuff like that. So
Sounds good, man. And I will link your info down
okay.
in the description so everybody can go do that. And I'll be launching this as soon as I can. After this, I'll be editing it and go to the gym and then probably post it. So
Okay. Sounds good, man.
yeah, man. Thank you for coming. Appreciate it.
Yep. Have a good one. I'll hit you up in a little.
All right, sounds good.
All right. Bye.
Bye. All right, thank you guys for watching. Please like and subscribe and comment. It helps me out. Follow my Instagram at Zachary Aldrich with 2 H's at the end. And I'll put that information down below. Have a great day.